Elder Scrolls Online came out in 2015, and it's a massive multiplayer online game. It's an open world where you can venture anywhere and complete quests and activities. The world is massive and contains 37 unique zones. Ahead of the upcoming Gold Road expansion, I have decided to rank all 37 of these zones. This video is for both experienced and new players alike, and it shows off the beautiful world of the Elder Scrolls Online. Just to note, this is my personal opinion and it is not a voted metric, although I did take some polls into account. Secondly, the zones will be based on the area's aesthetics, uniqueness, content, cities and story. I will not be counting what came with the zone, for example classes or new skill lines. Also, Cyrodiil and Craglorn will not be included as these are PvP areas and I feel they should be judged separately. And I'm just not going to go into too much depth on this video. I'm going to touch on the area real quick, give a summary and then move on, otherwise this video will be over 4 hours. So we got 37 zones to rank. I'm going to go from the worst zone and then leave on the last zone. So grab yourself a hot drink, grab yourself a snack and settle in, because here we go. Balfoyen. So Balfoyen is one of the base game small areas. Honestly, there is literally only one way shrine here. It's very much the same as Stonefalls. Nothing unique here. You pass through, you're done in 5 minutes and you never return. This is our lowest ranking area and it's weird to even call it a zone just because it is that small. Betnik. Another small basic starting area with the base game. There's not much to do, nothing unique, very copy and paste. You're passing through, you're here for 1 minute, then you're gone the next. Nothing really to really say too much about. It's home to an orc settlement and the storyline's okay. It's not going to blow you away and the side quests are more tedious than enjoyable in my opinion. Kanafi's Roost. Another small island with the base game. Again, the area is probably one of the more pretty in terms of the starting areas. The side quests, main quests are all okay, but again, it is such a small area. You're here for 5 minutes. If you ran around on your horse, you could knock this all out in a couple of minutes, and that's the reason for the low ranking for this area. Shadowfen. Shadowfen is one of the starting zones in the game, one of the big zones, but the problem is it's a swampy nightmare. We get that they were going for the aesthetics with this, of the swamp sort of Argonian home feel, but it's just a nightmare to navigate. Just trying to get around, there are giant bugs everywhere, alligators, you're trying to ride your horse to get from one place to the next, getting in fights. The main city is also pretty boring, doesn't look unique, and that's the reason for the ranking on this one as well. Malabal Tor. When I was making this video, I actually forgot to even include this one. That shows how unmemorable it was. It's not a bad zone, it's just very copy and paste to what you've seen at this point. One of the starting zones in the game. It's something that you're going to pass through. You barely remember any of the quests or side quests. It's not really unique in the way it looks, as it copies a lot from other zones. Again, that's the reason for this one being so low. It just didn't have the wow. Bankarai. Now, a lot of people do like this one. I see the potential with the storyline, but the main quest was not really riveting and the side quests almost bored me to tears. The land is split into two by a barrier, half of it being desert land, the other half being grasslands. That kind of annoyed me because I just wanted to get to the north, but I couldn't cross before doing the main storyline, and that's the reason for the low ranking. Bleak Rock Isle. It's a small little star island, but it's one of the better looking ones. It's got beautiful terrain, the main story is extremely engaging, and the side quests are actually very good as well. So the only reason why it ranks so low is because of the size of it. It only has one way shrine, so again, you're only here for a little bit and then you're moving on. Almost like you're just passing on vacation, but if it was larger it would be higher ranking. One of the better small islands. Stros Mackay. So finishing off our small base game islands is Stros Mackay, which I think is the best. It looks beautiful, it gives you a proper pirate feeling. The island has great side quests, including a treasure hunt. The main story is a heist where you're recruiting people. The whole experience is short, but it's completely enjoyable, and that's the reason it's ranked as the best small island. Deshaun. one of the base game starting zones. It's quite big, but it's very much like Shadowfen. It drags on a little bit. It's similar everywhere you look. Like, there's nothing really unique, no really captivating things that you see. The major city is Mournhold, which is one of the capitals, but it doesn't look too unique. It's just all the buildings that kind of look the same, so that's the reason why I'm ranking it so low. Stormhaven. The storyline is quite engaging, but the land it's very big, and it's very much the same everywhere you look. Sort of outstays its welcome in that nothing really looks too unique no matter where you go. The main storyline is good, and the city of Wayrest is actually one of the best cities in the game. Greenshade. It's a nice grassy, foresty sort of area, very pretty to look at. Now the storyline here is actually very good, the main story anyway. Even the side quests are quite good. It's just very much the same everywhere you go, but besides that, it's one of the better starting zone areas. Cold Harbour. This is the Oblivion plane of Molag Bal. It's part of the main storyline, and you need to get quite deep into that in order to even arrive here. The quests are good, the main storyline is obviously very engaging, as you're going up against the main boss, you're building your army. The main city here as well is very interesting because it starts empty, and as you progress and do more side quests and main quests, it fills up, which sort of gives you this feeling that you're building towards something. The area is very depressive, ominous, and it has a very unique vibe. Reaper's March. So this isn't actually my favourite area in the game, but a lot of people do like the storyline here. When I was doing my research, saw a lot of people were saying nice things about it. The area looks quite barren. It's home to the Khajiit. I mean, it is called Reaper's March for that reason, because it's an area that's supposed to look like this. Quite good. Main storyline holds it here. Eastmarch. Eastmarch contains the major city of Windhelm. It's based obviously out of the game Elder Scrolls Skyrim, so that always is going to give it a pass. The area is very pretty to look at, a lot of snow, very beautiful mountain drops, and yeah, the main quest is good, the side quests are nice, it's not hard to navigate, and that is the reason for it ranking as high as it does here. Glenumbra. It actually reminds me a lot of England, my home country. The main city is Daggerfall, which is impressive when you're travelling around it. It's mainly forest and countryside area. The forest is beautiful with big, tall, colourful trees. There's a certain point in the land where it splits and then it becomes bogs and marshes, which is very cool. The main storyline is also very good, and it involves werewolves. It's one of the starter zones, one of the better ones as well, and that's the reason why it's ranked quite high. Alakir Desert. Vast amounts of desert and sand dunes. Aesthetically, it's very, very similar everywhere you go, but the main storyline here is great. The towns are okay, the city's fine. It's just unique in the way that it looks. There's no other desert areas in the game, and the main story itself is captivating enough for it to be ranking as one of the best zone areas. Hughes Bane. A small area, but it comes with the Thieves Guild storyline. Hughes Bane is a large city with lots to offer. The actual area outside the city, although it is very small, does look beautiful. And the Thieves Guild storyline is very good, very enjoyable. And it's the reason why it's ranked as one of the higher areas. The Gold Coast. Like Hughes Bane, but it comes with the Dark Brotherhood. And you're able to get contracts and do assassins. The Gold Coast is from the original Oblivion game and contains the cities of Anvil and Kvatch. Very good in terms of the storyline, kept me engaged. It's one of the better small areas. The Rift. It's another Skyrim area. It contains the city of Riften, which is almost identical to the one from the game, or even if it's not, it has its own feeling. A lot of people hang out there online in the game. The storyline, the main storyline is pretty good. There's lots of side quests, decent dungeons, overall a decent starting zone area. Murkmire. It's like Shadowfen but smaller and a lot more cleaner. It's very swampy, but the quests and main storyline are very good. Obviously Shadowfen was part of the base game, so you can sort of see why it's not as enjoyable or as pretty. This is like the HD version. It's actually a very enjoyable experience from start to finish. Galen. A small island that is off of High Isle. The whole island split between grassy terrain and then a jungle terrain. All the content here is very good, and the city of Vastir is beautiful. There's even a guy there, a bard, who sings a song about it. For being one of the small areas, it's extremely memorable. Its only problem is that it looks very similar to High Isle, which is the island it's next to, and the expansion came right before it. And that is pretty much the reason for the ranking on it alone, but it's a great storyline. I really enjoyed it. I don't have anything bad to say about this area, really. Very enjoyable. Fargrave. Now, some people might be upset at this not being placed higher. It's one of the Oblivion expansions. Fargrave is a beautiful, weird, unique looking city, really like aesthetically pleasing. Gives you access to the Deadlands, which is an Oblivion plane, which will obviously be nostalgic for those who played Oblivion. It's split into two parts, one which is like a fiery red and the other which is like a electric blue, and the storyline's pretty good, so yeah, it ranks pretty high. Gratwood. This is one of the starting zones in the game. It has a really nice feel to it, like you feel like you're in a jungle. The sound effects around the area, like background music, is phenomenal, but what steals the show is the Elden Root, which is a giant tree with a city built inside of it. You never get tired of seeing that, no matter how many times you come and see it, and that is the reason why it's ranked here. Stonefalls. It's one of the best starting areas. It's very big. It's got a great main quest, volcanoes, very lavary area. It's got Davon's Watch, which is the main town, and it's got Ebonheart, which is another town. There's a lot to like. The main quest is great. Side quest is great. I remember playing this area, and it felt a lot like the original Oblivion. Just an area that I always like to come back to, and one of the best starting zones, in my opinion. Rivenspire. This is actually one of the most decrepit looking places. Like, it's very ominous. It's not pretty to look at, but the storyline here and the side quests are of the best writing in the base game, in my opinion. The story is great. You're completely captivated by it. The side quests are also fantastic, introducing House Ravenwatch. Other expansions will follow from this. It is one of the best starting zones in the game, and the story is one of the best in the game, period. Auradon. This is the final starting zone in my ranking list. It becomes, well, it finishes top of the starting zones. I have completed Auradon 4 times. It is beautiful, gorgeous. The cities, especially Skywatch, just amaze me. I love coming back. I could keep doing this island over and over again. I don't know what it is about it, but it never bores me. And for a starting zone, it's probably the best looking. Clockwork City. This was the second expansion. It's a small area, but it is so unique to anything else within the game. It takes you into a world of brass, technology, and talking robots. It's so different to anything else. It feels like it's from Star Wars or something. Like, there's no other area like this in the game. And I really loved the background music. The main quest was enjoyable. It's just so different, and really something that you could do a couple of times over and not get bored of it. So yeah, this one ranks very high for one of the small expansion pack areas. The Reach and Arxvand Cavern. It's a small expansion. It has the city of Markarth from the original Skyrim, which they created to perfection. Also, it has an entire underworld to explore. So you've got this area. The main quest is great. The side quests are decent. And the cavern underneath is just beautiful and unique to anything else. This is basically when ESO started just pumping out content which was top quality, and you can see that everything has been handcrafted to perfection. Southern Elsweyr. Dragons always help. Whenever you put dragons in, it's extremely enjoyable. I was skeptical about this area when it first came out. It's got a jungle feel. It focuses on the storyline of hunting dragons, but it's just really good. I highly recommend this area. The main city of Central is beautiful, very unique in the way it looks, and it has a lot of character, this area. Blackwood. One of the larger expansions. It takes us to the city of Leowin and Gideon. It's all from the original Oblivion game. I think this expansion was mainly focused on people who played the Elder Scrolls Oblivion and getting them hooked in terms of nostalgia. They even have the Adoring Fan in here. It's very swampy, but there's a lot to do here. The main story's good, and yeah, it's just overall a decent expansion. Northern Elsweyr. Khajiit homeland, and it contains the city of Rimmon, which is one of the best looking cities in the game. It's a giant desert land, and the dragon battles are just epic. It was the first time dragons were introduced on ESO. Really like this area. The only thing is, it's a nightmare to navigate, like with pits everywhere and valleys, but yeah, main storyline awesome here as well. Necrom and Apocrypha. This is one of the most recent expansions. The area of Telvanni Peninsula is quite big. It looks a lot like Morrowind, but then Apocrypha really blows it away. That area is so unique. The main storyline's okay. I wasn't fully engaged into it, but just the area and content of side quests are awesome. High Isle and Amanos. It's a beautiful island with a pirate aesthetic, and there's knights and castles. Later, you're able to travel to an island called Amanos, which is a jungle where they dump prisoners. The main storyline's very enjoyable, if not a little predictable. Just a very beautiful expansion pack, one of my favourites and one of the best looking in the game. Hrothgar. This was actually one of the first big expansion zones that ESO did, and it still remains as one of the best. It contains Orsinium, which is a giant city, home to the orcs, which is a fantastic one. But the main quest is probably, if not the best, one of the best. It's unbelievable. Just a fantastic storyline with treachery, shocks, turns. The whole area is great. The dungeons are great. Side quests are great. Nothing bad I can say about this area. Western Skyrim and Blackreach. This is an awesome area. It contains the cities of Solitude and Morphel from Skyrim and some other small towns. The quests and main storyline are really enjoyable, but just going back, later on you get to visit a reimagined Blackreach, which is just unreal. Like, what an area. You're basically getting 2 maps for the price of 1. It's probably the biggest zone when you include the 2 together. Morrowind. One of the earlier big expansion, they recaptured Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 3 in high definition. It's a great story. It's got the city of Vivec, loads of cities that have their own unique houses, and they have their own side quests. It was the first time where they introduced, after you finish a side quest, the person would give you a second one. I don't know, for me it's just so nostalgic, this area. Like, I came here, I loved it, I speak to other people, they loved it. I don't know what it was about it, but it's just phenomenal. I've done this zone many times and I'll continue to do it. They just got the magic sauce right on this one when it came out. And at number 1 spot, Summerset and the island of Artaeum. It's a fairy tale land, and it's just so beautiful to see. It so well captured the feeling of the high elf upper class. It just reminds me of something out of a fairy tale with the beautiful cities and the towns. Alinor, this main city there, is one of the best main cities in the game as well. I mean, just look at it on screen, it's stunning. Auradon ranked as one of the highest main starting zones, and this is just it reimagined, with it being focused on handcrafted content. All the side quests are absolutely unbelievable. The side quests kept me engaged, and then you got the island of Artaeum, which in itself is very beautiful to go to and includes a dungeon as well. That's my ranking. Let me know what everybody thinks. I wanted to be quite brief in this video. I didn't want it to turn into a 4-hour analysis of every single zone. I just wanted to capture them quickly. If you've never played Elder Scrolls Online, I hope this video shows you the potential of all the content included. Now, if you're an experienced player, this is where I'm interested to hear from you. Leave a comment, please. Let me know what you think. Like, did I get it wrong? Is there any here that you'd say, no, that's way off, this should be here? Do you agree with what I'm saying? There's so many zones, and the thing about Elder Scrolls Online as a game is it offers so much. for different people, so it caters to so many that everybody can enjoy different things. But anyway, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like the video if you did. Please leave a comment giving me your opinion. I'm Av Gaming, where I do video analysis on video games. We consider video games as one of the best arts, and we hope to hear from you. And Av out.